Good afternoon and happy Friday, everybody. My name is Declan. I'm CEO of Aurora Labs and welcome to this week's Alpha Leaks. I hope everybody has had a good week. I'm going to be going through the updates now before we actually have some guest speakers that will be coming on as well. So, what updates do we have today? Well, there was an article that was released by Forbes. There's some comments from me in there actually that's talking about the fragmentation challenges that are coming with standalone liquidity. So this is actually something I have talked about previously, where what we're starting to see in the industry now is basically a move away from kind of dApps and more towards fully integrated systems. Near Intents is obviously a fantastic example of this. You know, the ability to not necessarily centralize, but to be able to tap into liquidity across multiple networks and multiple protocols. But of course, that doesn't come without potential risks and challenges, you know, as we've seen in traditional finance, right? If there's a run on one of the banks, or if one of the major banks across the major kind of powers in the world have a challenge, there's a knock-on effect to all of the other markets. You know, and that's something that, of course, exists within our industry as well. You know, when you start to actually integrate these solutions together. So, if you're interested in this side of the DeFi and this side of the ecosystem, please do check out the article. It's worth a read. There's some comments from a number of other companies in there as well. Now, the Near Intents, as you guys know, we've been talking about our new Near Intents widget for the last few weeks. But actually, there's even more insights from Michael Vanderpot on his YouTube channel. If you want to get his opinions and his views on the Near Intents widget and what his opinions are for Intents going forwards, do check out that video so you can see, what his thoughts are as well. Now, last week I talked about CredShield. So CredShield is now available in the Aurora marketplace. So for anybody that is actively using our virtual chains, you're able to now obviously integrate CredShield. They've actually released a checklist for builders that are actually preparing their own production deployments. If you're planning on building with Aurora Cloud, please do take a read of the guide. It gives some great breakdowns of what not to do and how to ensure that your product is as secure as possible. Now, Coca is, as you guys know, becoming a very good partner of Aurora's. We're working very closely with them. We've been doing a campaign with Coca recently where you can now top up your Coca card directly with Aurora tokens. And of course, thanks to Coca's intuitive platform, it also means you can get up to 8% cash back and 6% APY on the tokens that you're depositing there. Now, many of you guys will know I'm also a user of Coca. I use it quite regularly. So it's great that the Aurora token is now supported. And of course, Near Intents is just around the corner as well. In fact, I'm hoping that maybe next week I'm going to be able to share some insights on our next big release, so to speak. And I mention that now because Coca will almost certainly be one of the first customers that will be using, this new product set. And I'm sure many of the other customers that we're speaking to will be actively using it as well. Now, of course, Near Intents widget is only so good as Near Intents itself. And Near Intents itself have been busy. So Alex posted the announcement that Brave have now made a major upgrade to their platform. They've added full support for Near Intents. It is now the primary mechanism, for swapping into the crypto assets across multiple chains, obviously Bitcoin, Solana, Zcash, Cardano, and it can all be done directly within the browser. So this is obviously a huge win for the Near Intents team. It's going to be a huge upgrade for Brave and Brave users. If you're a user of Brave and you haven't seen this yet, please do check it out. And of course, we're obviously looking forward to see what other partnerships are coming in the pipeline. I, of course, have some insights on what is coming. And I think there's going to be some exciting updates across the board over the coming weeks and throughout April. So that is the kind of key news components for this week. Now, of course, to see who our winners are going to be on the meme contest. So let's have a quick look. So Kevin, when you realize Near Intents widget info is so good, you can move value across chains. Okay. Is that John Ham? No, I'm not sure. Who else have we got? Okay, yeah, so there's quite a few actually regarding Hacko Agent, which is great. Who doesn't love The Godfather? Okay, yeah, Hacko Agents again. The Office. Do you know what? I don't know if it's really good or really sad that I know pretty much every program that these meme pictures are from. Friends pitching faster bridges and lower gas whilst making instant gas-free swaps. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Major Laser. We've got one from Julian. Oh, I haven't had a football meme in a while. Okay. Ronaldo projects integrating near swap. Okay. When you can't seem to get near intense widget out of your mind, it's all you can think about. Okie dokie. Yeah. Well, I can tell you what, that's how I feel these days. I literally fall asleep and I'm literally thinking about the upcoming stuff that we need to release. Okay, we've got something from Praise. Hacko Agents adding more source to near intense widgets. I'm not sure that's how Hacko do it, but I'm liking the Breaking Bad reference. Okay, and oh no, Bruce Almighty. Christ, that's a film I've not seen in a while. Hacko Agents integrating near intense. Okay, I've got Avengers, Infinity War, I think. Embedded all dApps and apps into the near swap widget. Complementing near intense visual Aurora for its good infrastructure. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. And the final one from Zane. Okay, Lord of the Rings. The one intense to rule them all. Okay. Zane, I quite like that. So you're going to win one this week. Leoton, I'm going to give one to you. The Bruce Almighty reference is a nice touch. And yeah, Craig, always got to give a nod to The Godfather. Oh, I'm not following you. Let's fix that. Okay, so that is our 3 winners. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing what you guys can come up with next week as well. I will actually be in a different location next week. The Aurora team, the Aurora management team has its quarterly kind of strategy review, but we will still be here and we will still be presenting. Now, I'm very excited now to introduce our guest speakers. So we have Yodel, and we've got the founder and co-founder from Yodel joining us. So we have Madhur. We're just going to bring you forwards now so you can say hello. One moment. There we go. Madhur, okay. You hear me okay?
Yeah. Hey, Declan. Thanks for having us here.
Tanook as well. Hi, Tanook.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this week's Alpha Leaks. As always, it's always great to kind of start by giving people a bit of an overview of what you do and who you are. So, without further ado, if you want to introduce us all to your product, your project, and what you've been building this quarter.
Yeah. So we have been building Yodel. It's an execution credit infrastructure that allows solvers to fulfill intents without deploying their own balance sheet. So to give you an example, right now the state of intents market is that it's similar to what traditional finance was before prime brokerage came into the picture, where only the big banks and people with deep pockets could execute strategies. It was not about strategies, it was more about the capital balance sheet that you have, and based on that you were able to get a fair share of the market. And that is what we can see in the intents market today. There are some dominant solvers who take most of that chunk of the trading volume. So and this is similar to prime brokerage in the sense that with Yodel coming into the picture, the smaller solvers, they don't need to worry about the limitations of their own balance sheet, as they get a credit line, a temporary credit line that they can use to increase their throughput and without deploying their own balance sheet. Yeah. So at a very high level, this is what we're building.
Okay, brilliant. And obviously you guys are using the near intense widget, which is fantastic. What made you kind of choose the widget? How have you found the process so far? And really, what problems does it solve for you guys?
Yeah. So first of all, surprisingly, it was very easy for us to integrate it, and it came at the right moment because we just registered our network on Symbiotic Vaults, and we are just starting with the delegations. So the biggest problem for us was the barrier to entry for users, who are not there on Ethereum chain, because primarily the vaults are on Ethereum. By integrating near widget, we have remove that barrier of entry, I would say. And this is just the first part where we have integrated the widget, but we are closely working with Aurora team, near team, to have a more deeper integration where our solvers could also use near intents for cross chain settlements.
Okay, fantastic. And in terms of kind of, I guess, start to finish, how long has it taken you guys to fully implement this? And have you had any kind of feedback from any of the users yet using it?
I think it took us, I would say, 1 day to integrate it. We were, I mean, we were occupied with a lot of things at our plate. We could not do it sooner. It took us about, from the moment we had a conversation with Igor to integrating live, it take us about a couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And since we are at the testnet right now, and the users who have been using it, they are quite surprised because they are not expecting this kind of user experience, and especially when from a startup like Yodel, because after integrating widget, it seems like something real is happening behind the scenes. So very, very glad that we integrated it at the right time.
No, fantastic. And I believe you guys have actually got something to share as well. You're going to walk the guys through the product, and they can see how it works. So we're going to bring your screen up now,
Sure.
and then you'll be able to walk everybody through. And of course, we'll have a look for questions from anybody that's watching afterwards. So let's just bring your screen up. There we go. Okay, over to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this right now it's on testnet. So the goal over here is that very soon we'll be making this live, wherein the retail audience can come in and delegate YODL tokens to a specific solver, or what we call it as execution agents. So what happens is, since this is kept as a collateral based on which the execution agents are able to get the execution credit that Madhur was just talking about. So the integration is pretty simple over here. So if in case you don't have the tokens on Ethereum, you can just simply go to the widget, select the tokens that you want to bridge into Ethereum, and that's pretty much it. After this, there's also a functionality wherein once you've come to the screen where you want to delegate these tokens to the operator or the execution agents, you just come here, you get the tokens on Ethereum, you enter the amount that you want to delegate, and that's just pretty much it. Your USDT or whatever you're delegating goes into the vaults. It at the back end, it's swapped with YODL, and it's deposited and staked into the vault.
Okay, brilliant. And from a user's point of view, let's say they've done that. What happens if they want to, withdraw from the vault? Is that a simple thing to do? What's the process?
Yeah, so generally, there is I would say, a minimum lockup duration of 1 month as per, Symbiotic vaults. This is how it works. And there are two kinds of vaults actually. If you're talking about YODL, when you select the cliff, so basically, based on your appetite, you choose the time duration. It starts from 3 months to 12 months. But in general, you can also delegate for a minimum of 1 month, cliff. And after that, you're free to withdraw.
Okay, perfect. And from a security point of view, because this is something that is often asked when we have partners on here, how do you guys ensure, that any of the assets that users are, depositing within your platform are kept secure and safe?
Yeah, so basically, we don't take the custody. The initial movement is that from the EOA of user, it goes into the vault, and from there it temporarily goes into an orchestrator, which is our smart contract. And then that fund is being used across 1inch OKX aggregators, and there are multiple aggregators. Soon we're going to add more. So the idea is, the operator or the execution agent cannot withdraw it to their EOA. They can only interact with addresses which have been whitelisted by Yodel. And initially it's only like 1inch and OKX is next. So that ensures, provided the audit is fine. I mean, there are no bugs in the smart contract.
Okay, fantastic. And you mentioned 1inch there. Obviously, I know you've also announced partnerships with Symbiotic, right? What's the nature of the partnerships, and how does it improve your product?
So basically, with Symbiotic, what we're doing is, that there are an idle capital sitting in Symbiotic vaults, because essentially everything that is there in any of the restaking protocols is for economic security. Now, the problem with that is it is just sitting idle, not doing anything. What we did, we basically wanted to utilize that idle capital temporarily to back solver's execution. So how it basically works, we call it an execution time debit. It is not exactly a slashing, but works similar to slashing, where we temporarily slash, let's say, USDT or wrapped ETH from Symbiotic vaults into the orchestrator, which is managed by an operator or an execution agent. And then there is a time duration. So for example, when somebody delegates to an operator, they choose the epoch window. So it could be 1 hour, 1 day, depending on what they want to do it. And based on that, within that duration, the execution agents need to return it. So now there are a couple of scenarios which might happen. Because of the market conditions, you don't have enough tokens. And this is where their bonded Yodel collateral comes into the play. It is slashed from a Symbiotic vault, swapped in AMM pools to make it atomic, only for the deficit part. So the first part is, let's say you swapped ETH for USDT. And that is in the orchestrator. Now ETH pumped. So for us, the problem, or the problem is not that the market crashes, because that is when Yodel makes money, in the sense that we are not affected by that. The problem is when the vault assets, which were swapped for stables or other assets, they pump hard, and that is where it could trigger liquidations. But these liquidations are not like what you see in a perp. It is not based on the price. It is majorly based on the deficit. And to cover that deficit, Yodel tokens and around 40% of the total supply of Yodel tokens are also allocated to make sure that the vault's baseline is always restored.
Okay, no, that's great. Well, I guess I've got time for probably one more question. What do people kind of watching right now have to look forward to from you guys over the next month? What alpha can you share with them?
So I think there is a new primitive that is going to be more I mean, that's going to come very soon. The idea is, why the market was not ready for it, because as you know, the evolution has been that earlier there were AMMs which were atomic. Then even with intents, there is an option for the solver to walk away from the code after acceptance. And this is why something like Yodel needs to be there in the market, which balances the scales in the favor of smaller solvers as well as the venues for more reliability. So this is the missing primitive, and it's going to be as big a moment which happened after prime brokerage came into the scene for the traditional finance. So very excited, and very happy that we are integrating with Near, and at a deeper level as well. So there are a lot of updates that we're going to share over these few weeks.
No, we look forward to it, and we'll obviously be in touch with you as well with our new product release that we'll be announcing very soon, because actually your product would be a prime candidate for this, and I think it would improve the user experience even further, although it is obviously pretty good already. Madhur, Tanuj, thank you so much for joining us this week on Alpha Leaks, and of course we'll be more than happy to have you back on to share some more updates over the next few months. Now, I'm going to have a quick look to see what questions that we have for today. So let's have a quick check. Okay, so we've got a question from Immortal. What do you have to say about the near intense collaboration with Coca Card? Yeah, look, we're working very actively with the Coca team. In fact, I'm actually on a call with Vasily, CEO of Coca, almost straight after this, actually. So Coca are going to be involved quite closely with the new product that we're going to be releasing, which is going to be a pretty big upgrade to the near intense widget as you see it today. So I'll be able to share more on that. As I said, hopefully next week, actually, as long as Armand is happy for me to do so, and we're ready to go, then I'll be able to share more on that next week. Okay, so we have another question here. What other innovative feature do you wish can be on near intense? Well, I know what feature I want to be on near intense because we're building it right now. So again, I'll be able to share more on this very soon. But I guess to give you a bit of a clue and a bit of an insight is near intense right now is fantastic in that it allows all of you as users, or all of us rather, to be able to seamlessly swap anything you want at any time. But why do people make those swaps in the first place? What do they want to do with it? And hopefully that gives you a little bit of a clue as to the direction that we're going here at Aurora with our product development and with our release schedules. We have a question here from Obsidian. Wouldn't offering near intense widgets to other launch pads create competition for Calyx? Yeah, great question. So look, I mean, the beautiful thing about Calyx is it's multi-chain by design because it's actually built on near intense, right? And one of the biggest challenges that a lot of launch pads have had historically is their liquidity is kind of trapped into one network, and we don't have that issue with Calyx. Now, yes, arguably giving this functionality to other launch pads kind of adds a competitive layer. But to be honest, we all target projects in our own ways. The way the market is at the moment anyway, there's very few, projects that are actively launching. But also from a near intense perspective, any launches that take place there and any fees that are generated come straight back into the ecosystem, which gets invested into our products, it gets invested into future releases and the ecosystem as a whole. So yes, on paper, there is a competitive aspect to that, but in reality, it's really just a diversification of revenue and allows us to create more opportunities. What else do we have? So Alpha, which other blockchain should we expect on near intense? You'll have to wait and see. That one's not for me to share. That's for Alex and the Diffuse team to give some more updates on that. But I do know that there's a few in the pipeline. We have a question from Saeed. There is a revenue dashboard for near intense. Is something similar for intense widget or Calyx? Yes, there will be. It's something actually we're looking at the moment. We're very busily focused on kind of the next release, shall we say, but it is something that we're aware of internally, and it is something that we do want to get to once we have resources available to do it. So Aduka, should we be expecting more partners on Aurora in the nearest future? Yes, we're actively engaging a number of projects, primarily for near intense widget at the moment, but you can expect some more announcements as well. And of course, we're always looking at how to strengthen our partnership panel for the Aurora Cloud marketplace as well. Leoton, so many projects implemented AI based on Claude. Does Aurora plan to develop some? In fact, I'm going to do two questions at once here because Praise has asked a similar question. Would Aurora be embracing AI innovation? So the answer is yes, we already are. So actually, our team, both our product team, sales team, engineering team, we're already using a number of AI tools, for a whole range of different things, right? For some of our projects, it's obviously not that simple. Some of our products are extremely, complex. Our engine, our smart contracts, all of those things. We have extremely talented engineers, that do that. But certainly for a lot of our kind of ideation and a lot of our new kind of products and releases, we are, of course, using all of the tools at our disposal to make sure that we can release things as quickly and seamlessly as possible. And I think that is everything. One more question, and that was from Craig. Are there any new features going to be added to near intense widgets soon? The answer is yes, and I will hopefully be able to share something on that next week. So I think that's it. That's a wrap. Have a great weekend, everybody. And thank you for joining this week. And I look forward to seeing you next week for Alpha Leaks. Take care.